everybody, and welcome back to Let's Start a Business here with Shante. As promised on this channel, like I said, I want to help you guys figure out which businesses you can use to start sorry, start working from home. And one of the simplest ones that I think is to start with a virtual assistant business. So this is going to be the first one that I share with you guys. There are different ways to do it. There are lots of tools that you can use. So this is just the simplest way that I can think to get started. You may want to grab a pen and maybe a notebook and take some notes because I am going to give you a few different very specific systems and tools you can use. That way you can go later and kind of do some research on those. And also, with that said, since I am going to mention a lot of them, if you don't know how to use any of them or you're not finding any good tutorials or videos out there, let me know in the comments or send me a message or something, and then I can gear one of my videos towards that to help you guys out. And this, as it says right here in the title that you can see, is going to be a way to start it for free. I will be mentioning some things that you can pay for, but this is, like I said, a good one to start with. You can do it for free, and I think it's an easy format to follow. So I'm going to get started here. The first thing, welcome again, and thank you for coming back. Thank you for sharing your time with me and being invested in your own future, okay? So I'm here to help you. Go ahead and leave your comments. Please be respectful, but any questions that you have, anything that I, sweep past too quickly or whatever, go ahead and let me know, and I'll be taking a look at those so that I can help you guys out because that's the reason why I'm doing this, okay? Um, Oh, and also, if you guys like it, please do like the video. That helps YouTube realize that it's something good for people so that they'll share it with people. And if you do benefit from it and you're interested in following, go ahead and subscribe because, like I said, I will be doing more videos on other businesses that you can do and also on some of these systems that I'll be showing you guys, okay? So the first thing that I wanted to address with you is your mindset. I know you hear it all the time, but this is very important, okay? Because the way that you think about what it is that you want, this is kind of how it will materialize and manifest in your life. If you're constantly thinking negatively and like, oh, this is not going to happen and there's too many roadblocks in the way, then that's how you're going to go about that thing. So that's how it'll materialize for you. But if you think positively about it, it's more likely to happen, okay? So claim it, claim what you want, speak it, say it every day, write it on it, post it, put it on the mirror. It just like own it. Just know that it's yours. Visualization. Again, think about what your goals are, where you want to see yourself, how much money you want to be making, and work towards that. Start walking towards it, okay? You are an entrepreneur. You are going to be your own small business owner, okay? You're taking this into your own hands, so make it your own. And don't think too hard in this about trying to look professional and compete with other professionals. Just start from where you are and then work your way up from there, okay? Get your mind ready for success. This is real. Some people are afraid. Some people are like, okay, what happens once I get what I want and once I get to where I need to be? And they don't know. And the unknown can kind of cripple you a little bit and then it kind of stops you in your tracks. Okay. So prepare yourself for what that success looks like in your life and block out negative people. I can't say this enough. You have to be mindful of the people that you allow into your space and the people that you allow into your mind. Okay. If anybody is around you, talk like, why are you trying to do that? Or why do you think that you'll be able to do that? Or you'll never be this or never be that. Avoid those people, altogether, but definitely on this. Protect your dream. Okay. You do not have to share this with everybody. Work towards what you're trying to do and then share it with them once you get there. This one is going to be about your workspace, okay? You definitely have options. That's one of the cool things about this particular job. You can pretty much do it from anywhere, depending on what you're doing. Most of it you can. So because you'll be virtual, you don't have to show up anywhere physically. You can definitely work from your home office, excuse me, but you also have options. I'm pretty sure somewhere in your town there are co-working spaces. Those are popping up all over the place. This is where you can kind of get outside of the house if you need to be in a different environment. I do find sometimes it's easier for me to do my work when I'm not at home because I'm not thinking about the million and one things that I have to do. Like I have to get dinner ready or I have to switch these clothes to the dryer or whatever. Once you're not at home, you kind of have to shut that off because you have no choice but to focus on your work. So I do find that beneficial from time to time. With those co-working spaces, they usually have different tiers of packages. You can pay to drop in for the day. You can pay for shared spaces, an actual office to have there. You can pay for conference rooms if you need to have a meeting locally. You have your libraries, coffee shops. The freedom is yours. You choose where you want to work, but just kind of think about it, have a good idea. If you will be working from your home, be mindful of your setup, okay? If you get into this type of career path, you're very likely to be sitting in front of the computer for long periods of time. If you have something like a Fitbit or maybe even just use a timer on your phone, just kind of, let little reminders go off for you to just get up and kind of walk around for like 10 or 15 minutes or stretch. Make sure that you have a good ergonomic setup, okay? Make sure that your chair is comfortable and it gives you good back support. Have a wrist rest, so that you can protect your wrists. File cabinets and desk organization. I have that there because sometimes you will have things that you may need to print off. You may not. I mean, there are ways to do this completely electronically. So you can create little files and folders on your computer. But if you are going to, like I said, have to print things out, make sure you have these types of things. Um, Even like the file cabinets, eventually you are going to have to file your taxes. You want to kind of keep that stuff in order. So just, it depends on what your setup is. Oh, and also a USB headset if you're going to be doing something like possibly um, reception type work or outbound calls for someone or any type of answering services, then you'll want that. That way you can have, a kind of a hands free situation. You don't want to have a phone in your hand and be trying to type and talk to people at the same time. And when I have environment down here, that's kind of really big for me. I think that kind of sets the mood for your energy. If you have like a lot of clutter and things all over the place, it kind of makes you feel a little bogged down in your brain. So kind of like declutter your area that you're going to be working in. Kind of let the light shine in a little bit, get some of the sunshine. That helps those little happy endorphins in your brain. And then smells. I mean, if you like candles or incense or, anything like that, just kind of put yourself in a good mood to kind of be in a positive space. Organization is very important, okay? You know yourself better than anybody else, so just be real with yourself. When do you work best, okay? Are you a morning person? Don't kind of tell yourself, oh, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z at this time in the morning, when you know that usually either you don't get up that early, or when you do, you got a million and one things to do. And by the time you actually get started on something, it may be the afternoon, because then you've kind of thrown off your own schedule. And when we do that and put ourselves out of our rhythm, it puts us in like a procrastination mode, okay? So just be realistic about when you can get your stuff done so that you don't miss any of your deadlines with your clients, okay? Um, oh, yeah, day, evening. Again, some people work best at night. I find that I do. It's quieter, people are asleep. I actually get a lot of my work done in the evening, but again, it depends on what works for you. As far as the schedule I'm sorry, glows, goes, this is all on you, okay? This is your business. You're going to have to figure out, if your client gives you some work to do, what the deadline is and when you need to have it in by. Um, as far as I have here about the time blocks or trigger sessions, because I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. Oh, I think it's like a power hour. That's the word. Um, Sometimes, again, if we have a lot in front of us, it leads us to procrastinate, okay? So think of these power hours or these trigger sessions as times that you allow yourself to only focus on the task at hand. You, as your own business owner, will have a lot. You will have marketing for yourself. You have to stay on top of that to let people know that you're out there and what you do, but you do still also have to do the work for your clients. So it's good to set, a different schedule for when you're going to do these different things. And because we constantly have notifications going off on our phone or our computer or whatever, we can get up and move around and get out of the rhythm and try to get back into it and waste a lot of time. So if you kind of make maybe an hour every day on your schedule where you have just these trigger sessions or these power hours, you can just kind of turn your notifications off, close your door, let your family know, okay, from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I need everybody to stay away from my door. Don't ask me for anything. And then just sit down and focus on what you need to do. I promise you, if you do this, you will get a lot done. Um, as far as systems go, I'm going to be going into a lot of these, but um, A good one is how you're going to track your time. Think about that, okay? So if you have to, later on we'll talk about packages, but if you decide to do pricing by the hour, some people may request, something that documents how much time you spent. So you may want to keep track of that in like a spreadsheet or something. As far as all of the systems that you will use, you're going to have email systems and possibly websites, social media, um, contract systems, like all these different things. It is a good practice for you right from the beginning to possibly create a spreadsheet that is just for those passwords. Um, and just keep that information somewhere, or maybe even put a lock on it so that you're the only one who has access. There is a system called LastPass, which is here. You can Google this. Again, I'm going to give you names for systems, but you're going to have to research it so that this won't be too long. But this is a system where you can set up your passwords and they automatically generate like really hard combinations of letters and numbers and stuff like that so that nobody else can get into it. But it is a little bit more detailed than that. So that one you can kind of check out on your own. You're going to have contracts that, with your clients. You always want to have something in writing about what you're going to be doing for people. Um, Spreadsheets that document your income and how much money goes out. You're definitely going to need that at the end of the year. So, again, I would have this in order before you start so that you don't have to worry about that later on, trying to remember everything. And keep all of your receipts. Anything that you buy for your business, even if it's office supplies, if you have to go to a meeting, the gas in your car, like all of these things, keep track of them because they all make a difference and you will need them at the end of the year. Okay. Here I did mention tracking tools. Again, that has to do with if you're going to be tracking your time for your clients. Um, More systems. Again, for passwords, I said you could use the Excel, just create a spreadsheet or even a document in Word. It's up to you, or the LastPass. And all of these systems that I'm mentioning, these are just ones that I either know about, I use, or I know that they work well. So again, research them, and there are more out there, but figure out what works for you. Project management tools, I have here Asana and Trello. Asana is one that I actually use. It allows you to kind of set projects that you have. Again, when things need to be turned in, what you've done so far. And if you start to work with a team of people, it's very easy for you guys to figure out who's doing what. So you may not need that in the beginning, but just something to consider. As far as bookkeeping, if you're not going to use a spreadsheet, they do have other software out there that are QuickBook alternatives, unless you know about QuickBooks, but if not, it may be kind of complicated in the beginning. So FreshBooks is a really good one for that. And there's also something called Wave Accounting, so you can look into those as well. I put address here. This one is important because if you have, let's say you start email marketing, which I always recommend that, but once you set that system up, you do have to have an address listed in your account, okay? And sometimes you're gonna need for people to send you things in the mail. It just happens, not that often, but you will. If you don't want to have your own address out there, you do have the option of getting a PO box. I talked about co-working spaces earlier. Some of them offer that, and you can also get that at the post office. They definitely have those. But if you need a regular street address, because some things they will tell you that you have to physically put in, or you have to put in a physical street address. It cannot be a PO box. So there are virtual mailboxes online. I actually have one through a company called Physical Address. It's only about $8 a month, so it's not, a huge expense for you. But if you do get to a point where you need one, just go ahead and consider that. This is geared toward you starting completely for free, so I'm not telling you that you need this by any means. I'm just listing it here so that you will know that this is an option later on if you should need one, okay? As far as phone and messaging system, you can definitely use your cell phone, but if you don't want your number out there, and you don't want to go get like an 800 number or something like that, you do have the option of getting a free Google Voice number. Again, you can Google that and you'll find it pretty easily. And there's something called Sideline. This is one of those apps that you can put on your phone, and once you download the app and it generates a phone number for you, this number is specifically for your business. And whenever people call that number, it'll ring through the app on your phone. And if you want to call other people, you would open that app up and make the phone call through there. Okay. This is another investment. You can use the Google Voice for free. Sideline is something that you can consider if you choose to invest in that now or if you want to do that later. Other options that you have if you don't want to have a physical phone number, you can set up Zoom meetings with people. and you can talk to them without having to have the camera turned on. Same thing with Google Hangouts and Facebook Messenger and Skype, obviously. If you want to do, how do I want to say this? If you have clients, I've had people that I've talked to that were in other countries, and I've noticed that for a lot of them, this has been easier to just either call over the Facebook Messenger or something like Skype. Okay, so those, and again, you don't have to be on the camera, so don't shy away for that reason. It does have an audio option. So those are some systems as far as communicating with people. If you not need to actually talk to people, which actually eventually you will. That's good. Even if you message back and forth with somebody about what you're going to do for them, eventually you're going to want to get on the phone with them to make sure that everything is clarified, about what you're going to be doing. More systems. This scheduling system here, okay? Calendly, this is free. If you decide that you want to set up appointments with people, if you go to Calendly and you set up your free account, they will allow you to have a link. So you'll have like a very specific link that you can share with people. So if you're going back and forth with somebody and they're like, yeah, I really want to talk to you, what time works for you? You can just say, I'll go ahead and send you my appointment link and you go ahead and choose the time that works best for you. Because once you set up your Calendly account, you are going to set each day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, it doesn't matter, whenever. You're going to say what times on those days that you're available. And if someone schedules an appointment with you, it will block that time off of the calendar. So just to simplify things for you, go ahead and set the times you're available to talk, and then when people want to meet, go ahead and send them that link. That way they can just go in and figure out what times you have open and it'll automatically be on your schedule. Okay. And they will send you the email notifications for that. As far as invoicing and payments, again, a free one that you can start with is PayPal. PayPal will allow you to create buttons for people on your website if you're a little bit more advanced and you know how to do that. But you can also go in and physically create invoices. I use PayPal most of the time. I've used other systems before, like Anco, which is here, but primarily PayPal that works for people in a lot of countries, so it just makes it easier for me. Um, Tisper, this is another one. This one you'll probably see in a few of these here because they offer several things. They offer you being able to track your time. They offer setting up contracts. They have it's like a, what do you call it? A thing where you can kind of set what tasks you want to do. So it's another like project management as well. They also have the option for setting up invoices. Okay, so they have a free level, but then the more you get into it, you'll have to pay. So just kind of take a look around that. That would be a really good tool for you to use. So just really look into that one. It's Tisper. Um, as far as the contracts, there are free templates online, so you can Google that and use that. Because for this, obviously, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, but if you want to, you can consult a lawyer about whatever you're doing and make sure that everything is in order. But you can go online and find some free templates. Just to have something, even if it's very basic. Like I said, you should have something in writing about what is expected of you, what your compensation will be, when you're going to get paid, if it's before or after, or if it's half in the beginning, half later. I generally, as a general rule, I charge people ahead of time because I don't want to be chasing after anybody for any payments. I don't have time for that. But some people do prefer to get paid after the job because they've been burned by other people. So just kind of figure out how you want that whole system to work. And again, with Enco, they also have contracts. They used to have a free version. I'm not 100% sure now because I haven't used it in a couple years, but you can look into that. And we already spoke about time tracking. Okay, a work email. If you decide that you want to pay some money later, you can have it to where your website and your email are in sync. Okay, so I have an example here. If your website is like www.coolva.com, your email would say something like your name at coolva.com. That way it's in sync, it looks more professional, um, and you just kind of have the same access. It'll usually run through the same system. But if not, it's not like a make or break thing. Like I said, don't try to focus too much on looking professional in the beginning. Just get yourself out there and start getting work and start getting paid, and then you can worry about that stuff later. Um, as far as going the free route, you can set up an email with any system. They have the live.com and the Gmail. Obviously, this is the one that I'm going to recommend. I'm not even going to recommend any of the other ones over this one just because of all the other tools that it would offer you as a virtual assistant. The way that the Google Suites work, they have different um, applications in there. So you have the Google Hangouts, which is like a messaging system. You have Google Docs, which you can type that are like Word documents. They have the spreadsheets. You can create forms later on that you may want people to fill out when you start automating your systems, which we'll talk about in a different video. But this one allows you complete freedom. If you start working on your computer at home and then you have to go out of town or something, and so you have to pull up your laptop or an iPad or something, as soon as you log into your Google email account, you'll have an option to click on the documents and all of your work will be there. Wherever you left off, that's where it'll be because it automatically saves it. So it just saves you the headache. And not only that, once you start to work with your clients, like let's say what you're doing involves paperwork, you can share that with them and it makes it easy for them to receive and edit because you would go in and decide who has access to that and put their email in there, and then you can share the link with them and then only you two can open it. So it's just it's a simple tool and a lot of other people use it, so I think it would be a good one for you. And then here I have, if you do decide later on to subcontract work out to have people helping you, it's another good way for you two to communicate with each other and make sure you're on the same page before you send the document off. Okay. Um, but yeah, I think it's awesome. Again, go check it out. If you need a free work email, I would recommend starting with that one. As far as a website, do you really need one? Yes or no? Okay, the answer is no. You don't really need one to get started. Okay, so don't get stumbled over that and say, okay, I have to wait till I have a website. It has to be super perfect. I have to look like this. Don't do that to yourself. It's not necessary. Is it good to have one? Yeah, because as soon as you tell somebody that you have a business, they're going to try to go look for you. They're going to look you up. They're going to see where they can find you. So, a good alternative to having a website in the beginning is a business social media account. I recommend Facebook and LinkedIn because these ones allow people to leave you reviews. So anything that you have online that allows other people to vouch for your work, that's going to be my recommendation. And I know that Facebook business page does that and LinkedIn. So I would go with those two if you're going to opt for a social media account in the beginning. What do we have here? Oh, and also when it comes to the website, if the cost is the thing that you're worried about, you can get a website for free. For example, on WordPress, if you go there, they will let you sign up and have a website, but it's going to have this on the end. So instead of your website just saying like coolva.com, it would say coolva.com.wordpress. And that's going to be the same with any website format that you use, .wix, .weebly, .squarespace. So that one is going to be an investment eventually. You're going to want to pay for your domain and everything. But if you are insistent that you want to be on the internet, then you can go ahead and do it. You're just going to have, it won't be as personalized initially. Um, the one that I've used that I really like to navigate is WordPress because this one, they have a lot of tools that I like, and they also allow for you to have a blog that can be connected with, which I've noticed actually a lot more websites are offering that. So this one is completely dependent on your preference. Okay, but with WordPress they also allow another version for self-hosting where you can add more applications if you're a little bit more advanced, so I'll get into that on a later video. And I don't think it's too expensive, but so that might be a good one to start with. As far as your reviews and your experience, okay, if you don't have any like samples or any experience initially, don't worry about that. There are different ways that you can kind of get creative with this. Let's say if you're going to go into something that has to do with writing for people, just go ahead and create some. You don't have to have some for other people. Just create samples. And when they say, hey, I want to see your work, just say, okay, I'll send you some samples. Go ahead and send them whatever you wrote. If you're doing PowerPoints for people and they say, hey, I want to see your samples, then just create some PowerPoints and send them over. Okay. No big deal. As well, okay, I forgot about this one, sorry. You can ask your family or your friends to create character-based testimonials for you. Okay, so these ones are going to be basically just about your character. Have them write something that says, I've known this person since this long and they've been, they're really trustworthy. Anytime they've had to do this task, they get it done. If you volunteered at your church, or at your mosque if you're Muslim, whatever religion that you have. If you've done volunteer work there, ask someone either that you'd worked with or somebody who knows of that work that you did, ask them to write a review and say, oh, well, yeah, she said she was very dependable. She was where she was supposed to be when she was supposed to be there. I really enjoyed working with her. She has a great personality. She follows directions really well. I don't know, anything along those lines, anything that has to do with somebody vouching for the fact that you will do what you said that you will do. Okay. Just be honest and trustworthy because that is an issue I've had with a lot of people that I've worked with. They tell me, well, this person said they were going to do this and they didn't do that. And so, they kind of want to put that on you a little bit, but rightfully so. This is all online. They don't know you. So anything that you have where somebody can vouch for you and what you will do, you'll do what you said you would do, then that'll be good for you. And you can also, because some people obviously they don't have a lot of time, you might ask them. I don't have very, very many reviews. I have some, but not very, very many, not with everybody that I've worked with, because it is hard to get reviews for people that you work for because everybody's busy. And it's not even that they don't intend to do it. You can ask for a review and they'll say, oh, yeah, yeah, I'll definitely write you one. And then a month later, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm going to do it. Okay. And then they'll eventually get it to you. Hopefully, that's happened to me before, but they did get it, but they're busy. So, one thing that you could also do is write something and then ask them to approve it. And if they do, if you're putting it on your website, you can copy and paste it there, or you can just say, if this works for you, would you mind, copying this and just pasting it into the review system on my Facebook page or on LinkedIn. That way they can and put a link there for them. Make it very easy for them. Just put the link to wherever it goes and the copy and say, if you approve this, can you go ahead and copy it and paste it there for me? I'm trying to grow my business and get some more clients. So I think it would be helpful, if people know about the experience that you've had with me. And most people will definitely be willing to help you out. Okay. So don't be afraid to ask. Um, as far as work experience, another thing you can do is exchange work for reviews. So there are lots of groups on like Facebook, and again, lots of people on LinkedIn. You can reach out to people that you see that have a business, something along the lines of what you want to do, and just say, hey, do you mind if I do this work for you in exchange for a review on my website? Most people will tell you yes. Make sure you're asking them something that they're going to need, and most people will definitely say yes. And then do good work. And while you're doing the work, perfect your skills on what you want to offer. Start setting up your systems. Get used to how you want to do things. I don't want to recommend that you work for free because it is your time and your time is valuable. But if you're literally starting from nothing, you might just kind of have to bite the bullet on that. Okay. Um, you're going to want to choose your angle as a virtual assistant. I don't even think I stopped to explain the virtual assistant at the beginning, talking too fast, but virtual assistant is basically you helping people virtually online. So anybody that you're helping and you're helping them online, you're a virtual assistant. This is a huge range of things that you can do. Okay. You could be building websites for people. You could be a social media assistant. You could be writing. Like it's just, there's so many things that you can do. I can't even say all of them. But one thing that you're going to want to do is figure out if you want to be a generalist and help everybody with everything, or if you want to specialize in something. Okay. If you're a generalist, yeah, you have more options and you can get started quicker, and this is really good because then you can figure out what you like. You might think that but you might be like, I don't really like doing this for other people. This is too stressful or it's too time consuming and it doesn't really fit the type of schedule I'm looking for. Um, the systems are not really meshing with me, and then it's making it look like I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, whatever, you don't know. So just get started, see what happens. And then once you do find something that you're really good at, I would recommend that you niche down, because once you become a specialist, you are like the go-to person at the top of someone's head when they need something done. Okay. And because of that, you can charge more. Um, so let's say, for example, you're doing a lot of different work for somebody and you come to find out that you really like helping people who have e-commerce stores. So people who have like Shopify's or eBay or the Amazon sellers, like you might find you like listing things for people, researching products that they can do, setting up the prices, handling the customer service, and you might be really, really good at it. So you can say you're an e-commerce virtual assistant, and then people will be like, oh, okay, I need help with, this. I want to start this store. And they'll know that you are a person for that. Even when it comes to social media, you can even niche down from that. You have Facebook, you have LinkedIn, you have Pinterest, you have Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, all these different social media apps. You could just pick one and specialize in that. You could be an assistant for YouTubers. You could say, okay, well, I'm going to transcribe your videos, or I'm going to transcribe your videos into blog posts for your website, or I'm going to find affiliate programs for you. I'm going to edit your videos. I mean, it doesn't matter. If you find a thing that you're good at, go ahead and niche down and specialize in it. Once you do specialize, this could be based on the work that you do, or it could be who you work with. So you could do everything in the book, but it's only with lawyers, or it's only with chiropractors, or it's only with auto mechanics. Like, or you could say, I'm only going to do social media for um, lawyers, or injury lawyers, or family lawyers. Like, I'm going to do blog posts for doctors who are plastic surgeons. I mean, you really, there's so many options. I can't even tell you everything, but just get creative, figure out what you're good at and what you like, and go for that, because even if you have to do a little bit of digging and some more work, you're going to enjoy it. Create a strategy for yourself. You don't necessarily have to have a formal business plan, okay? But have some sort of blueprint that's going to guide you, so that you know where it is that you're going. Even if it's just a sheet of paper with like 5 bullet points, it doesn't matter. And then have like a short term goal and then a long term goal, something that you're working towards. You will need that sometimes. You're going to be like, oh, what am I doing this for? I'm tired. There's not enough time in the day. I'm not making as much money. You have to have something that's going to motivate you and keep you going and remind you that you're further than you were yesterday or last week or last year, and that you just got to keep moving. Um, what's your online footprint going to look like? You want that in your strategy. Are you going to have a website? Are you going to be blog marketing? How many social media accounts are you going to have, and which ones? You don't have to be everywhere. Choose the one that is more aligned with where your target market is, okay? Are you going to market locally in your city and online, or just one or the other? Locally, you can go set up flyers at places, networking events. Your chamber of commerce, they usually have events where they have different business owners. You can go to those so that you can network with other professionals. This is a really good place for you to be, because these are the people that are your clients. On your vehicle, this is, some of this is not going to be free, obviously, but pick and choose. Eventually, you can get the marketing, the magnet things, that you can put on your car, or you can actually pay somebody to do that artwork, either on your car, or your window, or whatever. That way, you're a walking advertisement for yourself. You could go to trade shows. Um, if you're in the beauty industry, or bridal, or auto, whatever, when there are auto shows, go show up. When they have bridal expos, go show up there and go talk to the different vendors and let them know what you do. Um, what was the other one I said? Beauty. Sometimes they have these big blowouts with a lot of, hairstylists and competitions. Go show up there and talk to people and say, hey, I do um, website, I build websites for salons, or whatever your work is. Go talk to those people, meet them, shake their hand. Well, not right now, but talk to them, let them get to know you a little bit, feel for your personality. um, One thing I want to remind you guys is that sometimes it can be hard when you're new and you're starting out, because you're like, oh, there's like 10 million people who do this, why would anybody want to work with me? You are what separates you from everybody else. Above anything, you are unique. You have your own personality, you have your own way of doing things. When you're going out and you're talking to people and you're meeting people, let them know who you are. People relate to other people. Let them get a feel for you and decide if you are somebody. It doesn't matter. There could be somebody who's been doing what you do for 10 years. They meet them, they meet you, and they're like, this person, we just don't mesh well. I don't see myself being able to work with them. But when I meet her over here, even though she just started, I can see her samples, I can see her reviews. And on top of that, she just gets me. She understands what it is that I'm trying to do. So I'm just going to take a chance with her, don't talk yourself out of anything. Um, let's see, where am I at? Okay, online. If you decide to market online, again, blog post marketing, have a blog on your own website. Um, this will help you in the long run with search engine optimization. When people are Googling terms that have to do with your business, it's something that can help lead them to your website eventually. Social media marketing. Again, like I said, figure out where you should be for wherever your target audience is and start with that platform, because this can get overwhelming in itself. If you're trying to be everywhere at once, it's going to get very overwhelming. Just let yourself be on maybe just one platform for your business initially. And then once you're consistent with that and you want to grow from there, then start to grow. But don't overwhelm yourself. Um, Email marketing. That's your own online real estate. I'm very adamant about people having their own list because anything can happen with these other platforms and you lose all your contacts. In the email marketing, it allows you to be right in their inbox. So if you do build a website, get your system set up, and I'll do a different video on that and attach a pop up there so that you can offer something to people and start collecting those email addresses when they land on your site. Um, Facebook groups. This one is really good. Join different groups with other virtual assistants. You can learn from them. But also you can network because there are virtual assistants who start to get so many clients that they have to start subcontracting it out. And then they're like, hey, who knows how to do this? Who makes phone calls? Who creates posts for social media? I just need somebody to do that for me, X, Y, and Z. So you might find work from other virtual assistants, okay? And also word of mouth. Make sure you're telling your family and your friends what you do. So that they can also speak for you. Even if they don't need your service, they might be somewhere and be at a coffee shop like, oh, this is a cute little shop. I've never been here before. And somebody might say, yeah, I've been kind of struggling with, trying to stay afloat because we're not getting as much business and we're not really familiar with these new ways of doing things. And they'll be like, oh, hey, my cousin, she does that. Let me give you her information. So let people know what you do. Referrals. Once you do start to get clients, if you do good work for them, they have other friends or people who run in their circles that do what they do, and they may offer your services to them. So, kind of remind the people that you do work for, say, hey, if you know anybody else, you think you can drop my name. And most people, if you're doing good work, they'll be happy to do that for you. Um, Cold calling and cold email messages, or even messages on social media. I've done all of these. So, when you're first starting out, this is something that you can do. If you find that you want to be in a particular industry, um, just start going through Google and be like, if you want to work with, I don't know, nail techs, just start pulling up, okay, technicians in San Francisco, and go down the list and start calling and say, hey, do you guys need help with building a website? Do you guys need help with social media marketing? Do you guys need help with whatever? I don't know. It depends on what they're doing. Whoever you want to work for, just kind of start either collecting the emails and then start sending them out, or you could even hire somebody to do this eventually. They can make the phone calls for you if you're not comfortable with that. But this is just another method. Um, Same thing with the messages on social media. If you're comfortable, go ahead and reach out to people. Because again, I don't want you to think of yourself as bothering or pestering people. What you're doing is something that's going to benefit them and it's going to help them because you know how to do it well and they know how to do something else well. So you're just going to help them with something that will alleviate some stress for them. Most people don't want to do all these extra like marketing and technical things. They just want to bake cookies or fix cars. So don't be afraid. Um, Postcards. Once you start to invest, if you want to, this is something you could send out, especially if it's to your local area. Um, you can kind of, I don't know, get some addresses of some businesses in your area and start sending them out. Again, if once you get into subcontracting, I have this under here under marketing because of Fiverr. Um, Once you do start marketing, like I said, you could hire people to make calls for you, or when you get to a point where you want a logo or business cards or other marketing materials, Fiverr is a huge marketplace of freelancers. So you can go on there and find something that's affordable for people to do for you. But also, if you get to a point, like I said earlier, where you have to so you get so much work that you need to subcontract out, you can find other people on Fiverr to do certain things. You can find people on Upwork, and there are a lot of people on LinkedIn and those Facebook groups. Um, so, with the Facebook groups for virtual assistants, like I said, this is good for you, especially if you're starting out, because you will learn a lot and you can ask people questions. If you're like, hey, somebody wants me to do this job for them, how much do you normally charge for that? Or I'm trying to use this system and it's not working. Has anybody else had issues with that today? And you might find that other people are like, yeah, I think they have, some sort of system issue. Somebody else might be like, yeah, they do. I put in a ticket for that and this is what they told me. Like, it's a good place for you to network with other professionals, especially since you'll be working on your own at this point. You need to know who your target audience is, okay? Who are your services for? We touched on that a little bit earlier. Create an avatar for your ideal customer. This is where you're going to kind of want to dig really deeply into this, because in order for you to market effectively, you have to know where the people are that you're marketing to. Okay. So you literally get a sheet of paper or a whiteboard or something and kind of write this stuff down so that you can really hone in on this, especially if you get to a point where you decide to start creating ads. This will really come in handy. What do these people like? Where do they hang out? What do they listen to? What type of budget do they have? What do they need? Because once you figure out what they need, you can figure out how you can help them, okay? You don't want to market yourself in a way that you're constantly like, "Oh, hey, I build websites," or I'm a social media manager. I do this. No, angle it from a place of letting them know that you're fulfilling some need that they have, okay? I help who do I want to use for an example? Daycare. Let's just say a daycare. I help daycare providers find new clients by creating effective marketing campaigns for their social media accounts. Or I help, who's another good one? Oh, chiropractors. I help chiropractors generate more traffic to their website through creating Facebook ads for them. Let people know what it is that you're doing, but in a way that lets them know how it's going to help them, not just the fact that you do it, because that's not good enough for them. They need to know why they should be thinking about you. And some people don't even know, they need the help. There are a lot of people who think they have everything under control, and just by you saying something, they'll be like, "Oh, you know what? I haven't been doing this. I haven't been doing that. You know what? Let me see how this goes. Let's take a trial run." Um, let's see, where am I at? Oh, once you figure out who your target audience is, allow your marketing to reflect that. Okay, so once you do have a website or you have marketing material, if salons or beauty products or whatever, if that's your market, make sure you have little things of like lipstick or hair ties or hair products or people with their hair a certain way. Like, allow your website and your marketing materials and your social media to reflect who you help, so that once they land on your page, they're like, "Oh, this is for me." It's different if you have, let's just say, a dentist, for example, and they're like, there's this VA pitches something to them that's like, "Hey, I help people with social media." Then they go over to this website where someone says, "I do social media specifically for dentists." Who do you think that they're going to choose? Set yourself up to reflect what it is that you do for the people that you're going after. Okay, pricing your services. Here you have a few different options. You can choose to charge people by the hour, or you can choose packages. I'm not a huge fan of hourly because some people they kind of get deep with that and they want to know, they want to account for every little second, and it can create some friction. But this is a really good way to start, okay? Because you have to know what your time is worth, like how much you can finish within a certain amount of time. And that actually helps you to create packages later down the line. If you know that, okay, I'm getting paid $20 an hour, or that's what I want minimum, then you can say, okay, if I do this task and it's going to take me 2 hours, then I'm going to charge you $40 for this project. And you can kind of get to a point where that becomes easier for you. If you are going to charge by the hour, oh, wait, I'm not there yet, huh? Okay, so um, you have to decide if how that's going to be structured. So, for example, you could say, okay, I charge $15 for 1 hour, but if you get 2 hours, then that's just going to be $25. Like, figure out how you want to price it, figure out how you want to present it. Do you want to only do by hourly? Do you want to offer 5 hour packages, 10 hour packages, 40 hour packages, and then give them the whole month to spread that out? And then if you do that, are you going to allow that to roll over? Because if they pay you in advance, are you going to say, hey, since you've already paid for 40 hours, but you only use 35, are you going to allow them to use that other 5 hours next month? Or are you going to tell them, you bought this, but you have to use it within this time frame, and then if you don't, you just kind of lose it? How do you want to present that to them? And if you do work by the hour, figure out what type of software you want to use to try to track that. Again, Toggle was a really good one because they will actually generate reports that you can give to your clients. Okay. As far as packages go, um, This is basically, you charge X amount for X thing, okay? So like I said before, it can be based on whatever your hourly fee is, and then you kind of figure out how much time it takes you to do that task. Um, with this one, you want to offer tiers to people, okay? So instead of saying, here's this thing for $100, you can say, get it at this size for 100, this size for 50, this size for 250. Give them something to choose from in a variety there. And the price completely is going to depend on the service that you offer. Like I said, you're not going to pay someone the same amount to go do some research for you, to create a call list that you will to build a website. Okay, so I can't tell you specifically what to charge because it really depends on what you're going to do. Um, but you can always start from one price, and as you get more experience and more skills, and you have more reviews behind you, go ahead and start charging more. Charge what you're worth. Once you learn more, you're when you sorry you guys, when you invest in yourself, you become an asset for somebody else, so charge for that. Okay, more on pricing. Don't undervalue your time. Like I said, if you're going to start low, I would definitely not go lower than $15. I still think that's low, but again, you might be intimidated by charging too much because you're new. Don't go below that. There's so many things that go into your price. You have to account for your time, how much work you're doing, the systems that you're going to be paying for eventually. If you're 100% freelance, you might be paying for like health insurance, business insurance, um, a portion of your internet or your phone bill are coming from this, or certain apps that you're using. You have to take everything into account, okay? Um, with that said, like I said, I wouldn't go below 15, but I would say even if you want to start low, start at like 20, okay? People charge anywhere from 15, 20, 25, 30, $50 and more. It really just depends, like I said, on what you're doing, okay? When it comes to your packages, like I said, versus the hourly, remember how much time it's going to take you to do a thing. Break it down and be real with yourself. Do not undercharge yourself. You don't want to be out here working for free. This is your livelihood. You're investing in yourself by learning. You're taking time away from your family. Make it count for you, okay? Um, as far as social media packages, I've seen some as low as 300 or even less than that, depending on what people are doing, all the way up into like 1,000, 2,500. It depends on if on social media, if you're only creating posts for people, are you creating posts and scheduling? Are you doing engagements? Are you creating ads for people? The more that you're doing, the more value you have and the more money you can charge. Okay. So start from where you are and then work your way up from there. It is important for you to educate yourself. You're not at an office where somebody's going to come and tell you it's time for you to complete your training, for you to kind of stay afloat with what's going on. This is all going to be up to you. You can start with the skills that you have, and that you want to offer, but people may say, okay, hey, I need you to do this or do that. You don't want to have to be like, no, I don't know how to do that. So you just turning away this thing. I mean, you can if it's something that you really don't want to do, but if you're like, hey, you know what, I can figure that out, then go figure it out. You can learn along the way. Nobody knows everything. You're never going to know everything. Just start from where you are and then learn as you go along. Um, don't overwhelm yourself with too much research to the point where you are procrastinating before you start. Like, oh, I need to know how to do this. I need to know how to do that. It's not true. Start from where you are, and then you'll figure out what you need to know along the way. Okay. As far as free education, since that's where we're starting, with this business, Google and YouTube are going to be your best friend. You can find anything there. Be mindful of your sources, but if we're just talking about learning systems, there are lots of YouTube videos out there, just like the one you're watching now, but detailed tutorials on how to use certain systems. Um, so you have those as options. You also have places like Udemy where you can go on and people have courses on like everything. Again, just go look it up later. You also have local and online seminars in your city. I don't know how much of that is going on right now because of coronavirus as far as locally, but check online, and see what's out there. Usually, every town has an SBA, or a small business center or a small business development center, or SCORE, and they usually have stuff going on. So I would go on there and check that out. Again, invest in yourself, okay? Even if it's just by way of your time, YouTube and Google. The more you get better, the more you can offer, and you always want to stay up to date with whatever's going on in your industry. Get your family on board. Okay, your family is your support system. You are going to be cutting into your family's time. You don't want to cause any friction between you and your spouse or with your kids, and they're like, hey, you said you were going to take me to go get ice cream, and you're like, dang it, this has to be done within the hour, so I can't do it. Schedule your time accordingly, and keep your word with your family the same way that you're going to have to do with your clients. You just have to find your own balance there. um, if you have small children, be mindful of whatever jobs require you to have quiet times. Like if you have to have a meeting with somebody, just to kind of go over where you are for the month or what you need to do for the coming month. Or if it's your initial, like a discovery call with a new client, you don't want to have a child in the background screaming. Most people understand that a lot of people are working from home right now, but you still want to try to be respectful of their time, as far as that goes. So just make sure you have the proper protocols in place with your family. And if you're going to be by yourself during these times with these small children, maybe try to find other friends or family members that you have, even neighbors who have small children, and you guys can kind of alternate play dates. And maybe one week everybody's at your house this afternoon, but then this day they're at someone else's house, and kind of rotate. That way, when it's not your day, you can kind of schedule things accordingly, as far as that time goes. Um, and if it gets to be where you really have no one, consider like a daycare, even if it's a drop-in daycare for like an hour or 2 hours or whatever, for you to finish up your meeting or whatever it is that you need to do. And we're at the end, you guys. This is time for you to get excited, okay? I know I can be dramatic. I reminded myself to say that, but this is your baby, and you're watching it come to life in front of you, okay? Like I said, own it. Create a vision board. Do this with your family. Get your kids on board. Go old school. I did that. Me and my kids, we went to not Borders. What is it here? Barnes and Noble, and bought magazines. And we came home, and we were doing the little poster boards. Get your friends together. Start figuring out what ideas you have now, what goals you have. Even if your goal is a bigger house or a nicer car or a vacation, visualize these things. Create that vision board. If you want to go new school, you can go on Pinterest, create a private board that no one else has to see, and start pinning some ideas that you have. These types of visualizations are also good because they help you remember why you're doing this and what you're working towards. Like I said, it's not going to be easy every day. You have to have something that's going to help keep you focused. um, and throw a business party. I know this is like real new age. I don't know if I know anybody who's done it, but I think that it would be really cool. Do it in person when it's safe to do so. But even now, you could do something like that online and just have, a little live party thing on like Facebook or Instagram or something, and invite your friends and your family, and just let them know that you're starting this business and that you're excited about it. Tell them to buy you gifts. Maybe office supplies or something, or again, referrals. Tell them, hey, come to this party with some names. Let me know who has a business. Who do you know? So I can say that you sent me. So just to recap everything, get your mind ready, okay? Get organized, get all your systems in order, consider, where you're going to be at online, start to get your reviews and your testimonials in order, figure out what angle you want as far as general versus specific. Um, your strategy. Like we said, this could be a very basic blueprint of what you're trying to do, what your marketing looks like, who your audience is. Figure out how you want to price your service. Go online and do some research. A lot of people have their pricing on their website, and you can try to get an idea of what other people are charging for what it is that you want to do, and don't undersell yourself. Educate yourself. Stay up to date on these things that you want to offer and that you want to do for people. Get your family on board. Get super excited because this is exciting, and share your business. This time to let the world know, okay? Once you get to this point, tell your friends and your family, especially people who are close to you and people who will support you. Once you've launched, like I said, you have to guard your dreams. Everybody doesn't need to know, especially if you have a lot of negative Nancy's running around you. But once you get to the point where it's out there and you're actively taking clients, then let everybody know. Um, Especially if you know other business owners. Like I said, don't be shy and think that you're bothering people. People need help. You're doing them a favor by doing these things that they do not want to do. Post it on your personal social media account. Share with your family. Ask them to share the post, you know. If that's nothing else that they can do, you know, say even if you can't give me any business, please just share this because somebody else might see it, you know. Your family and your friends, people who are close to you, who genuinely care about you, they want the best for you and they're going to be happy to do this for you. And you never know who's going to be reaching out to you, okay? So you have to just go for it. At this time, I'm going to say thank you for being here for my first job that I'm presenting to you guys. Thank you for sharing your time with me and trusting me to tell you about this awesome thing that you can be doing to make money from home, that you can start with nothing, and that you can literally sit down for a whole day tomorrow and plan all this out and be started by the day after tomorrow. I think this is a really good one to start with. I will be making more and sharing more with you guys. Um, and if you have any questions about any of the systems I mentioned, or you want me to do a video on those because you really want to use it, let me know in the comments or send me a message. And if you know anybody else who can benefit from this, please share the video and like it, because if you like it, YouTube knows that people like it and they'll share it with other people. And if you really liked it, go ahead and subscribe and then, you know, see what else I have coming out as far as other jobs you can do to build on this and as far as the systems go. And that's all I have for you guys. Thank you again for sharing your time with me. And I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your day.